You know how they say you shouldn't judge a book by its cover? Yeah, fuck all that.
It's a musicality production.
What is up, guys? It is your favorite otaku Loach right here. Welcome back to the Nerd Corner. Now in today's video I'll be giving you guys my first impressions on the manga Twin Star Exorcists. Now with this manga I did something that I do not usually do. I went into it 100% blind. I knew absolutely nothing about it when I first purchased the first volume of this manga. The way that came about happening was I was over at Books A Million because it's just right up the street from me, so I go over there, several times a week, honestly, and just check out the selection, see what's new in their inventory. And so I'm browsing through the aisle, and I see a title that I've never seen before, which was Twin Star Exorcists. Now, this is kind of silly, but I have a fascination with stars. I just like the way stars look. I like the word star. I like stars in the sky. It's ridiculous, but that's beside the point. So it caught my interest. I picked it up. I'm like, this is a pretty cool title. It sounds interesting. I picked it up off the shelf and I see the cover art and I'm like, yo, that's pretty badass. So I opened it up, I flipped through some pages. I really liked the illustrations. It looked pretty interesting. And I was like, fuck it. I bought it on impulse, took it home, read it later that night, and I was not disappointed. In fact, I was hype as fuck. I'm like, yo, this right here reminds me of like Blue Exorcist, but better. In fact, it's kind of like Blue Exorcist and Shaman King combined, and I love Shaman King. Like, I'm still a big fan of Shaman King. I loved it when I was younger. I love it now. And this has a very Shaman King-like feel to it. It's like Shaman King, like I said, Shaman King and Blue Exorcist, but combined, but better than Blue Exorcist. It follows the story of this young boy, Rokuro, who he was a prodigy exorcist. He was like, at the age of 12, he was like the best exorcist around. And he had a dream of becoming like the #1 exorcist and ridding the world of kegare, which are basically demons. Until one day he's with a large group of friends and there's a pretty bad incident, and he goes on to give up his dream of becoming the #1 exorcist and getting rid of all the kegare. In fact, he swears off of exorcism and says he'll try and find something else in life. Problem with that is he's pretty pathetic. In fact, he fucking sucks at everything in life except exorcism. He tries to be a soccer player, a pop star, and some other crazy shit, and just nothing really works out for him. So as he's bumbling through his newfound lifestyle, a girl falls from the sky one day, because that shit happens in manga and anime. But this girl, Benio, she falls out of the sky, and it turns out she is also an exorcist. And they go to this other world via a talisman the girl has, which is basically where all the kegare live. And she slays some kegare and he gets involved. The story goes on. It turns out that this girl is now living with him, and the reason being is because these two, this young boy and this young girl, are actually the Twin Star Exorcists, and it is their destiny to have a child who will become a prodigy exorcist and become the savior of the world by slaying and getting rid of all the kegare that exists. It's a very interesting dynamic, and it introduces like a great comedy aspect, and this is why I say it reminds me a lot of Shaman King, because the interactions between Rokuro and Benio remind me a lot, and I mean a lot, of Anna and Yo Asakura from Shaman King. In this sense, because these two, they don't really get along at all, but even though Anna and Yo had strong feelings for each other, they never really showed it, and these two definitely aren't showing any feelings of sentiment towards each other, at least not yet. That will probably develop later on, but it's a lot like how Anna treated Yo very coldly at times and harshly. Benio does the same to Rokuro. She treats him kind of like he's useless and pathetic at times, even though he's very strong. In fact, he might even be stronger than her, more skilled and talented than her. But yeah, so she treats him very harshly and very coldly at times, and he gives into her bullshit a lot of the times, just like Yo did in Shaman King. And there's just, great tidbits of comedy that arise from the interactions between those two. The relationship is pretty interesting. I mean, it's not something we haven't seen before, obviously, because I'm referencing Shaman King, but it's an interesting dynamic, and it makes for a great story because it balances out the very serious aspects in the manga. But neither the seriousness nor the comedy takes away from each other. It's like a really good balance between the two. thus far, I don't really have any complaints or gripes about the manga. I mean, it's definitely not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. No series is perfect. I'm sure there are flaws, but nothing that really stood out and bothered me and took away from the experience. The only issue that I might have with the series is the fact that it's not popular enough yet. Not enough people know about it. Not enough people are buying it and reading it. Mainly probably because it's fairly new. I mean, the first volume came out in July. I bought it in October, and it just so happened that the day I bought it, Volume 2 was releasing like a week and a half later, so I bought that the day it came out. But Volume 3 doesn't release until like January. I forget which day, but it's definitely in January. And considering that Volume 2 came out on October, that's pretty far. And it's weird because I'm not usually into like brand new ongoing series. Not because there's something wrong with that, but because I kind of like to be able to go into a series knowing that it's already completed, not wondering when the next volume or the next chapter will come out. I don't really like dealing with hiatuses and like series that get dropped or don't get completed, because sometimes something can happen to the mangaka, or a magazine will stop publishing a series, or the mangaka could go on hiatus or something like that, and I don't really like to deal with that. So I usually, when I'm picking up, manga or watching anime, it's something that's already been completed. But that wasn't the case with this, and I don't know what about it in particular is making me break that. I mean, it's not that I'm very strict on that rule of like I like completed series, but you'll see like my manga collection and most of my pickups are from series that have already been completed. It's older stuff for the most part, because I'm a fan of like what I would consider classic stuff from like the 90s and maybe early 2000s. But yeah, the only ongoing manga that I really kept up with like week to week was Naruto. That's pretty much it, and that's because I've been, a huge fan of Naruto for over a decade. I mean, I kept up with that since I was a little kid. But yeah, I'm definitely interested to see where this is going. I can't wait for Volume 3 to come out. I'll definitely be picking it up the day it comes out. I'll be ordering it, and hopefully it'll get here before, because I don't really buy that many volumes of manga in stores anymore. I order most of my manga online. But yeah, I'm really enjoying Twin Star Exorcists. If you guys haven't checked it out, I highly recommend it. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. If you have any feedback, be sure to drop that in the comment section. Give this video a like, rating. Let me know what you guys think. But be sure to subscribe if you like what you see here. If you have any thoughts of your own on Twin Star Exorcists, if you have checked it out, definitely let me know what you guys think about it. And I'll be back again real soon, guys. Later.